Well, hopefully all the stream problems are fixed. And, yeah, I apologize for anyone having the stream problems. We're gonna get the 5 red lights on here at the British Grand Prix. We're ready for 5 red lights. Well, Scruddy Rat's car is going, I guess. They're waiting to rev it up. They're waiting to go. Here they go for 5 red lights. Upon us in the British Grand Prix, we're lights out and away we go. There's cars off the line trying to go 3 wide at the back, but it's Speedy Midget trying to challenge Jack for the race lead. He doesn't have enough to do so, and you see he's just ahead of Such J, ahead of F1 driver, and cars going off at the back as well. Just off the track, Kagoda, not much for him, but down to turn 3 for the first time. Jack leading the race, ahead of Speedy Midget, ahead of Such J, ahead of the rest of them. F1 driver. He's challenging Such J as well. So is V2 challenging Polo. And at the back, there's crashes. That's Axe and Brute Gorgon. Going off the track, it's just Sade at the back. Or no, sorry, that's F-Ray Cobra running a bit wide there. Making a little mistake and maybe got pushed wide. But Scratty Rat, you might have to re-invite him back to this session already as things stand. He currently stands as the race leader from the game, but Jack is leading this Grand Prix.
Yeah, I think Scratty Rat did just rejoin the session, so with him being 8 seconds in the lead, I don't think that will go down well with the drivers, but hopefully he'll be polite enough to give the places back. But it is relatively as it started. Polo God, F1 driver, and V2 Combat all scrapping over 5th place at Stowe. And there's contact there.
The Alfa Romeo boys getting into V2 there, and I think Scratty Rat finally drops down the order right there. Down in 20th. Yeah, his car's back in the session. Hopefully
he's slowing. Oh no,
be
he's
able
retiring.
To oh.
Oh, that might cause a safety car. That's not what you're meant to do. It has.
And it has.
That's naughty.
That is... It's not acceptable. I get it if you had the frame per second glitch, right? But you're supposed to retire in the pit lane with that. I mean, unless the game's... hey, unless the game did that for him, I don't know. I mean, I've seen some wacky stuff in this game, but hey, I mean... I don't know. I don't know, man. His wheel wasn't connected probably. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you don't know what could happen in that type of situation. We'll have to figure it out. Well... Safety car. Lap 2. Bunches the field back up. Brute Gorgon pitting for hards. I'm just closing all the tickets from Tier 3 at this point. Nothing better to do under safety car, right?
Yeah, fair enough. There's no position changes, but... maybe someone will try hards to the end. It's possible. But I mean, with there literally being... yeah, you can lose all places by pitting here, so... it doesn't look like any of the top 3 are going to. Such dummies. But no. Oh, there is a car coming into the pits. That is Ricochet.
Might have got some damage on lap 1. Don't know. We'll find out. Here in the pit lane, Brizzy, Gorgon, Axe, they got involved in the lap 1 crash, so I'm not surprised that they're pitting. Well, it's hard to tell which Gorgon got involved because it's rather Brute or Busy, but I know one of them did. Maybe 2 of them, who knows? But yeah, Busy coming to pit. He's going to pit for the hard tires. Maybe going to try to go the rest of the way. Axe, Ricochet. Ricochet, I don't think he fixed their front wing, but he's going for hards. This should be interesting to see. We've seen Atlantis do this before. We've seen Tax do this before. It could work out. Who knows? And that pit lane, like you mentioned me pre-stream, is 30 plus seconds long. So yeah, you make one mistake on the racetrack, and yeah, that could be costly for you in the pit lane. I mean, you're trying to gain spots there.
Yeah, it's about 37 seconds total time you spend. But actually, in a race, you don't lose as it cuts the final corner. You actually gain some of that back. But yeah, apologies to Scratty Rat, because I think that was more of a wheel problem. But yeah. I've just kind of mistaken that for what
Right.
someone would normally do and gone straight
Yeah.
on that. It just seemed too casual. Yeah, my bad.
I mean, we seen what Tripod did in like Hungary, so with stuff like that, that is a frequent thing that's been happening before. So we'd at least
Yeah.
have to assume at that point that could happen. So yeah. Well, I mean, drivers I think know from tier 2 yesterday and tier 3 yesterday not to try to go side by side on the safety car and not to try to pull dumb moves under the safety car because that could cause illegal overtakes to happen and game glitching and all that, because we've seen all that yesterday. Just try to focus on drivers who are staying close to one another, who are kind of trying to mind their own business under safety car. That safety car could be coming in this time, but it's actually chose not to. The field isn't fully caught up, so yeah.
Cart makes a good point, to be honest. It was quite similar to the alleged incident at Bahrain with I can't remember his name. Arsenal FC. Him. I
Yeah.
forgot his gamer tag for
Yeah.
a moment, and then
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. I remember Cart made that funny post where it was like, "Oh, there's this wheel disconnecting," and like that guy made an explanation or something like that. It was funny. But yeah, no, yeah, but Tripod moved his wheel. Screwed. Yeah, no, I know. I'm just, yeah, I mean, you'd have to assume at that point. And Jack kind of, I think, getting frustrated with how slow the safety car's going. Inner Lewis Hamilton, I guess, you know.
there was loads of that
'Cause Lewis
complaining
Hamilton
today.
Yeah, complaining today about it, so I wouldn't be shocked at all. Well, if you're just running in on the new stream, I apologize because I had to restart the stream considering there was frozen. I didn't have this problem with Mixer. I don't know why I had this problem here, but hey, at least there's a stream for this race. At least we could say that, you know. Can't say anything too bad about it. Because if there wasn't a stream, that'd be pretty bad for the race. That would be not fun. I wouldn't like to just commentate and no, there's no stream. You know, no one could hear me besides you. So that'd be fun. Yeah. Well, the safety car should be coming in this time as things stand. You want to call the safety car restart, Milo, while I gotta quickly be right back?
Yeah, that's if it does go. We should find out at the Sector 2 split, as is very common in this game. Sometimes in real life you find out earlier, you find out later. Sometimes, oh, it is in this lap. So we've got Jack ahead of Speedy Midget, and then Such, the top three remain the same. But V2 Combat, he's been scrapping away with the Alfa Romeos. I'm sure he has a long battle ahead of him. There's the two teammates who have worked very, very hard over the past few races. Will come right back at him. So, yeah, yellow flags at the moment.
Green now. Jack locks up. Final chicane right there. See, I gotta probably pull up a track map again. Apologize for that, I guess. I may as well do that at some point. Oh, off the final corner!
The final corner, and that was almost a big crash. I was on board with the car behind.
Well, side by side, GSR Pluto F1 driver. This is into turn one. Side by side, wheel to wheel again. They're touching almost, and they are that time. A little bit of contact between the both of them. F1 driver gets ahead while Sam Cole has a chance to challenge. ABS drive by Kagoda. Well, Jack's pulled out to a 2-second lead almost from all that. So maybe those guys might have to work together to catch Jack if they want to have a chance at this race victory. F1 driver getting by Pluto again, I guess, from the game. Glitching about that. Ricochet, Busy Gorgon, they all passed Axe, I believe, on that safety car restart as well. But yeah, Speedy Midget at the far back of this pack, down in 18th, well, 19th, I'm sorry. At the back of 18th, Brew Gorgon, trying to challenge right there. That's
Might have overheated his rears as well. It's very easy to do that at Britain, especially with some drivers. They might have opted for a time trial setup. Don't really know anyone that has explicitly said that, but yeah, it does look like he's struggling through Maggots Beckett's Chapel.
Ooh, behind that, Kagoda, ABS Jarv, Kyle SO2, all in a 3-car battle down outside the points as things stand, and as well, that gap, that glitch with the interval gap is still not wanting to fix itself from position changes. Well, Jack does take that fastest lap, and the gap is finally fixing itself, thank God. You have Kyle S2 trying to challenge in the back of ABS Jarv. These two have had their fair share at chances of points. ABS Jarv has had points finishes. Kyle S2 not a bad, not the worst start, but not the best start for his tier 1 rookie season, you could say. So he's trying to make the most of it. He's close to points right now, close to a points position, and he's been close in the points so many times. He finished in the points at France on track, but wasn't able to get the deal done off of penalties though at the end.
That's
Axe goes sideways.
That's a weird noise.
I was sipping water, that's why. I don't want to spit water out. But hey, Speedy Midget, now it's his opportunity to try to get by Jab.
Oh.
He does so, and Axe going inside of Speedy Midget right there.
Yeah, I didn't want to hear that, but...
Well, Brute goes by Jab as well. Jab's starting to struggle on the hards as well, noticing that. Definitely not an AI, I'll tell you that. So, the top 3 stands as a Jack Such J V2 Polo F. Well, that's the top 3. That's the top 5. Jack Such J V2 Polo F1 driver. That running order stands. ABS Jarv did get passed by Kaleso 2, while the DRS has been enabled for the first time this race. Now, is Sam and ABS Jarv trying to try the F1 driver strategy from last season, where F1 driver had a quali ban, and going the opposite strategy from mediums to softs and being better at the end of the race? Is that what he's trying to do here?
Yeah, mediums are a very good race tyre, and already Sam Cole is looking racy in this DRS train, so no surprises if he gets a good result out of this. He's been unlucky on a few occasions, Austria being one of them, that big collision at the penultimate corner. So this might be the road for some good points today.
Could be. You also have Kagoda trying on his reserve teammate for this week, Danny Skadit, replacing Tax. Here comes Kagoda on him. This is in the cop's corner. Can't get a move done. But trying for the acceleration out of that corner. See him switching gears, doing what he can. Now to Maggots, now to Beckett's. Out of Chapel, I believe it is. Hope that's right. I think I learned my corners from yesterday. Hope. F1 driver taught me well, I guess I'll say that. But yeah, 2 seconds between the race lead between Jack and Such. Jack just pulling out a race lead, and he's just cruising and cruise control. Not doing a thing wrong. We've seen some penalties awarded this race so far, but not many. I think there's been 1 penalty or 2 awarded. Yep, 3 second for Such, 3 second for V2. 3 second for F1 driver. Well, Kagoda is gaining on his reserve driver teammate, Danny Skadit. Now he's going to the left side. This is around the far outside at turn 3. He may be able to get this move done. He's going around the inside now of this corner. He should be able to get that one done. He is clear. He is ahead, but not for long. Danny Skadit trying to challenge back. Can't do so now.
Kagoda has DRS on the car in front, so that kind of stops Danny Skettit from re-overtaking his full-time teammate. But actually it's not, because Danny Skettit's the reserve. Yeah, that made no sense. I don't know why I spoke it like that. But ricochet time penalty. So time penalties start to become a bit more common now that the tyres begin to go off. We should see some pit stops, lap 9 to 11 for the soft runners. We've had a few laps onto the safety car, so...
While that's happening, Such is kind of keeping a decent gap to Jack. He's gaining a little bit, but it's definitely not enough for any DRS. The first 2 sectors for them, 28-0, 36-0 for Jack, 27-7, 36-1 for Such J, but he's also picked up a second penalty. That's very costly.
Oh.
And down the order,
Danny Skettit spun.
So Just Seed, he's making his first pit stop of the race. Speedy Midget as well. Not surprised with Speedy Midget as well, because he actually spun earlier in this race, so I'm not surprised that there's being a pit stop made already. While that's happening, V2 has kind of closed that gap to Such J just a little bit, and GSR Pluto's lagged out of the session.
I'll get him back in.
Well, F-Ray Cobra gets by him.
Done.
That's definitely costly. You have battles throughout the field. You have DRS trains really throughout the field. ABS Jarv, Ricochet. It's close between them. Not close enough really for an overtake, but Kagoda gets by Pluto as well. Now, considering Pluto's lagged out of the session, I'm worried about if he'll have the frames per second glitch, though. Because that's going to be a thing if he's having that near other cars. It's been a common glitch in this game, so it's, you know, it's definitely a lot of common glitches in this game, I'll say that. I make a thing on Twitter called F1 Games Day complaint number, whatever, or complaint day number, whatever. At this point, I still got to do that for today. But, you know, there's always something to complain about.
They touch, and they touched again as Such squeezes him off the track at Vale.
While that's happened, Paulo goes to pit. F1 driver watching all that happen. And what this has done, even though the strategy has opened for guys to go to mediums, what this has done, though, is this has allowed Jack to pull out to that 3-second lead. And here comes F1 driver on V2 combat now. Will he try move into turn 3? No, he won't. He's going to think better of that because he knows what happened last season when he tried to make a move right there on the safety car restart.
Jack now has a 3-second lead, and he's having a very nice day out in front.
Well, that's happened to F1 driver V2. V2 trying to switch back. F1 driver's got ahead for the time being. Sam Cole on those mediums. How is that going to work out? He's going to try to catch back up to the pack as well. It just seems like ever since Jack had missed that Austria race and Axe gets a penalty, it seems like ever since Jack missed that Austria race, he's flipped a switch and got better this season, it seems like. That's what it seemed like at this point. Jack's got better and flipped a switch that no one else has midway through the season.
Yeah, Polo came out in clean air, down in 16th. Oh, battle. Sam Cole, easy move.
Goes ahead of V2. He's got the move done, but V2 might want to try to go back at this, but he's actually going to pit this time. Jack pitting, F1 driver, V2 combat, Such J as well. Sam Cole, of course, on those mediums, you'd expect him to stay out. He's going to stay out. And the rest of the field just completely pitting. Ricochet staying out on those hards, actually. Now, this is an interesting strategy because of how long the pit lane is. Ricochet got the chance to pit under that safety car, and what he's doing right here, he's trying to tax an Atlanta strategy from Australia and France, where those hards, I mean, those hards can go 20+ laps, but it depends. I mean, that lockup definitely won't help. Same strategy as Axe, same strategy as Busy Gorgon, Brute Gorgon, same strategy as all them. And this should be interesting to see how this strategy will be able to work out. His gap to Jack. Oh, well, that's a big gap. 14 seconds almost, I'd say.
Yeah, and if those guys that have just pitted hit the traffic, and Sam Cole maybe builds up a stable gap, this might help his alternate medium strategy. So yeah, we've got a few strategies on offer. Lap 11 of 26, we're not even halfway through yet, so this race result is far from decided.
Paulo has jumped Such J from the pits, and now Paulo has got the chance to gain on Jack, and he's actually keeping a content pace with him. He's being somewhat of a contender to Jack now. I mean, keep in mind, Paulo took advantage of everyone being on FIFA this week. Everyone going to FIFA, Paulo said, hey, I may as well practice. I may as well get some time in to get better at this racetrack. Do better than I did in Season 1 because he had a chance at the race win in Season 1. He was contending from pole and then spun out and lost his chance at the race win. And he then had said at that point, from races like that, this is where I need to improve, and he's found the chance to do so. Danny Skedit coming in the pits for the first time. And yeah, Paulo, I mean, that gap is within 3 seconds of Jack. I'm quite curious to see, again, how Jack will be managing that gap and how he will be bothered by catching up to other cars in front, such as Brute and Busy and Axe. What were you going to say, Milo?
I said fastest lap. Polo just set the fastest lap of the race. But he did use a lot of his ERS, so now he's got to try and save some, which may be, yeah, he'll start losing time eventually. The Delta already suggesting that, but we've got a bit of a queue for currently 3rd place. It's Axe leading Busy Gorgon, leading Brute Gorgon, so I hope we don't have to go through that pain of the Gorgons side by side.
Maybe they're just secretly brothers. Brothers, who knows? Don't know. They're close within a battle. They're trying the same strategy Ricochet has, but you're gonna at least have to assume Jack's gonna get to these guys, get to the back of that 3-car pack, at least at some point. How much of a pain will it be for Jack to get to them? I mean, they're literally trying the tack strategy from France. Will this be able to work out for those front 5? Or first, sorry, well, second through 4th. Second through 5th. Or sorry, second through 5th. Oh my god, English. Kagoda gets by Kyle SO2 as well. This is into Stowe this time. Kagoda, he's got clear ahead. And Kagoda actually picks up a penalty from that. While Kyle SO2 might try to challenge back in the chicane this time. Down the inside. Kagoda gets ahead. But what's happened with V2? Because he's dropped that far back. He's definitely had a bad pit from all that.
He might have picked up damage from when Such squeezed him. I didn't see any damage at first. And to be honest, I never really looked. But I don't know if anyone else observed it.
Kagoda had to defend right there because he made a mistake there into turn 4, and now it's allowed Kyle SO2 to take advantage of that, while V2 may try to split him 3 wide. Down the inside he goes. He's going to try this opportunity that he's been given, and V2 may just go through, but he's still side by side, wheel to wheel with Kyle SO2. A little bit of touching right there. V2 currently ahead, but Kyle SO2 coming back at it is ahead for the time being, but this time in the Cop's corner. V2 combat into the back of him, but trying down the inside here. They're wheel to wheel into this corner. Will they make it work? Side by side pushes Kyle SO2 off the racetrack.
It was clean up until that point.
Ooh. Yoda got ahead of Kyle SO2 with that.
Oh, he's got a cut.
Speedy Midget has. Oh, and yeah, he does have to cut. Speedy Midget has been giving the chance to contend with Kyle SO2 right here. This is for outside the points, but this could earn them a points position with the way they're going and with how aggressive they're being. They may catch up to that pack. V2 is starting to catch up with Just Say, Cobra, F1 Driver. They're kind of in, I mean, three bubble gap second, or 3 gap bubble second, that you could say. So yeah. Square was saying V2 didn't kill anyone, and then that happened. Yeah, I was gonna say that, but yeah. Brute Gorgon, Busy Gorgon, Axe, all still sitting in a train. While that happens, Jack is gonna catch up to the back of them. This could rather hurt or help Jack in a way, because he's catching up to these guys. Now, how much of a fight are these guys in the these 3 willing to put? We know how much his teammate will be giving him a fight. Not really much of one. Axe and Jack will probably work together with one another, but I don't think Axe and Jack will really have to battle one another. I think it will be between the Gorgons and Jack.
Yeah, well, to get to Axe, he's got to get past the Gorgons. Well, they're in the DRS train, so it won't be easy to overtake on a straight. There is a yellow flag in Sector 2,
Ooh.
and DW's replacement has had the worst start possible.
And that's brought out a VSC, at least the minimum.
Sam Cole
and Sam
if
Cole
it lasts long enough.
Yeah, I was just going to say, the problem is with that, he's already past the pit lane, so... Yeah, now where he would probably come out is around F1 Driver, Cobra, V2, Kyle, around there. That's what I'm assuming. Now, we're already halfway into the season with the way this has gone. Ricochet is really going to be able to take advantage of this, because look at the gap from Ricochet to Jack.
11.
It originally was about 14 to 16 seconds. It's still a big gap. It's still at least 14 seconds. And Ricochet, I'm telling you, could he be on to win this race for the first time? Now, punctures, keep in mind, they can be very, very common in this game. We've seen it from Polo. We've seen it from many other drivers. They're very common. Now, Jab has picked up a 3-second time penalty under this VSC. Now, how is Axe, Busy Gorgon, Brute Gorgon going to be able to cope with the pressure here as the DRS is enabled? And yeah, that might not allow Sam Cole to pit right there. And Jack has kind of closed that gap down to the Gorgons right there after how far he was back for a moment. And Such J close to Polo as well. But behind that, you have Pluto and Kagoda, 14th and 15th, probably going to be battling. These two do have a bit of history. How hard are they willing to race each other? Because they're outside the points. They may want to work together to try to get inside the points at this point. A lot of points, by the way.
Point, yeah. Points, very important. They're good. Speaking of points, such J wants some for Racing Point, and down the inside.
Down the inside.
Doesn't
Gone
kill
through
anyone
Apollo.
this time.
He's got ahead of Paulo, and that's allowed F1 driver to maybe catch up just slightly. While that's happening, Busy Gorgon has lost the DRS off Axe, and that's now they got the and Pluto and Kagoda. Oh! Touching with one another right there.
Thing is, I said ooh at something completely different. Such J was sliding through turn 1 and just about held on. Polo's coming back at him.
On the far outside this time. He's going to try to switch back maybe and try the long way around it. Left field. Oh, losing traction. Yeah, so Jack's gap to Ricochet is now 12 seconds. He's going to have to gain at least more than a second a lap at this point if he wants to have a chance at Ricochet. I'm curious to see. I don't think Ricochet will be pitting again, though. I really don't. I really think that safety car is played into his hands, and now Sam Cole is going to be pitting probably for those soft tires. That's what's going to be recommended. And Danny Skedit, 3-second time penalty for him. He sits outside the points as things stand.
Have 10 laps then on what I assume are soft tyres. If it goes on any other tyres here, that'd be a disaster. They're red. It's all right. He's going on softs.
We have not done a penalty check. I will do that in a minute. And speaking of penalties, Kagoda picks up one. And Danny Skedit is trying to battle Jab at the back. This is into Stowe now. Jab is still alongside Danny Skedit. And V2 steals that fastest lap point away from whoever had it. And Danny Skedit, Jab pinching one another into the final chicane for the final time around this lap. And Danny Skedit around the far outside does keep that position, does get ahead. So now it's allowed Ricochet to get in command of this race. And where Sam Cole's come out, it's right behind F1 driver. Listen, I don't know who's going to be on for a podium this race at this point, because the top 4 is names, and especially with Axe having really no line on his, you know, assists. This for you wouldn't really expect right now. Ricochet, Axe, Busy Gorgon, Brew Gorgon. I mean, you'd expect Axe from previous races, but with him running no line, I would not expect that at all. The top 4 being like this, but this is all because, of the first safety car that was caused by Scratty Rat right there with his wheel disconnecting. So, yeah, and yeah, that's right. Points for Brood at the moment. That's what Renault we're looking for. It's not been the best start of the season to Brew Gorgon. Behind that, Speedy Midget has got by Kylo, so 2 Danny Skedit and Jab. This is close at Maggots Beckett's. Now into Chapel.
That's a good exit.
Jab gonna try to attack back at this on Danny Skedit. This is outside the points right now. You wouldn't think we'd be talking a battle outside the points right now, but V2, Speedy Midget, they trade fastest lap points right there, and that's outside the points. Keep that in mind. But,
here comes Jack.
Jab does get ahead.
Lining up his first move on Brute Gorgon. Inside is shown to him. But he makes up the place.
Will Brute try to challenge that back right here? Cannot do so. Now, he may have to try to learn from Jack here and see what Jack is doing, that he can maybe help himself get ahead of Brew Gorgon, get ahead of Axe as things stand, because whatever Brew Gorgon does here and follows Jack with doing, obviously you don't want to get in the dirty air the wrong way, but the thing is, if you follow Jack the right way, you maybe can learn a few things from him and apply it to yourself, and then get yourself ahead of Brew Gorgon, get yourself ahead of Axe. That should be interesting to do from Brew Gorgon. Can he be on for a podium? Busy Gorgon, though, this time on the Ferrari reserve driver. He's ahead. That's with ease. And now it's on his teammate, GSRX this time.
He was weaving down the straight there. I think that's a little bit of a sign of he's about to let him through. He runs a bit deep there, so I wouldn't be surprised if he maybe lets him go through on the start-finish straight. Fastest lap. 27.0 on those mediums.
Yeah, if you're going to let your teammate by, don't pull what Felipe and Bama pulled in Australia, where they both wrecked one another when they were in contention for the win. Paulo got picked up a penalty.
Slid off the
Someone
track.
just picked up the... fastest lap, and there goes Axe off the racetrack in the runoff in the grass. And this may allow Busy Gorgon and Brew Gorgon to catch up to him. But Axe may have been trying to get the DRS right there, but that's allowed actually. No, he probably didn't, because Jack has got the DRS. He may want to have his teammate get the DRS, have the chance to catch up with Ricochet, and there you go. Paulo's got ahead of Such J for the time being. That's a position trade right there.
Oh, Sam Cole, that's a crash, and F1 driver. Oh, dear.
And he's got wing damage now. That's not going to be helping him whatsoever. Axe has picked up another penalty. This is what, third penalty now? Such J trying to attack Paulo back at it again. And yeah, you can just tell how much time Paulo's lost to Jack, but I think Paulo would be happy, though, about Jack really not winning this race, if that's the case, because, I mean, Ricochet is leading this race with 6-7 laps to go, and 8.6 seconds ahead on those hards. Those hards will start to get very worn pretty soon, but Sam Cole goes to pit to probably repair that filming damage that he's picked up.
I mean, Sam Cole was going up the inside before cops. He would have had the move done, I believe. But F1 driver weaved to the right by the looks of it. I'm not sure if it was netcode. I'm not sure. I'm not going to make assumptions like I did with Scratty Rat because, well,
you could be wrong.
they're not always correct.
So
yeah, but
right.
Did seem like a very unusual swipe to the right, which put him in the pit wall of the old pit lane. So, yeah, very unlucky. Not his fault. Perfectly entitled to go to the move for a move on a straight.
Now, what do you say we do a penalty check here?
Ooh, yeah, that's quite
Ricochet,
important.
currently has one penalty, but if he gets another warning, he could sustain another penalty right there. Jack has said
no warnings.
I believe that's a fast lap there. Yeah, no warnings, but I believe he did not set the fastest lap right there. A green sector there. Axe has got some penalties to spare. That's 2 penalties. Busy Gorgon, just warnings for him. Brew Gorgon, he's got penalties, actually 2 of them. Paulo has got a penalty, in fact. Did not notice that. Well, actually, I think we did. Such J, 2 penalties for him. F1 driver, penalties. We didn't usually see many penalties in last season's race. Not many like this from drivers at the front of the field. V2 with a penalty. Cobra, very consistent with those 2 warnings. Speedy Midget, penalty. Kyle has a 2. 2 penalties right there. GSR Pluto outside the points, I'm pretty sure, with a warning. A penalty for Danny Skadda. Jab penalties for him. Anyway, as things stand, Sam Cole, he's picked up a penalty. While that's happening, Busy Gorgon. This is into Stow on Axe. That was never going to work. But luckily, they made it out with crashing. And what this has allowed to happen is Paulo to catch up to the back of that pack with Such J. Keep in mind, Busy Gorgon doesn't have any penalties, so if Paulo doesn't pass Busy Gorgon and get a 3-second gap, then Busy Gorgon's got that podium.
It's Gorgon on Gorgon. It has happened. Round the outside. And that is a very nice move.
Got ahead, but he's trying to challenge back. Busy Gorgon is. Not enough. Oh, he turns him! He spun him! Out of the fall chicane. Wow. Square says Gorgon. Go Gorgon. Which one?
Which one?
No, I know which one, but no, wow. Such is off, actually. Such is going off at the exit of turn 2. Or at the exit of turn 1. And Paulo is going to challenge Busy Gorgon now. Paulo actually hits the back of Busy Gorgon. And now Paulo gets ahead of Busy Gorgon. Now it's his opportunity to challenge Axe. And Paulo isn't clear just yet because Busy Gorgon trying to challenge back at that. Yeah, can't get it right there. Now, what Ricochet's going to need to do is, because Jack has no penalties, no warnings. Ricochet has that 3-second penalty. Ricochet's going to have to pull out and not get another penalty. Pull out at least a 3-second gap by the end of this race on Jack.
Being very close. I'd love to know what the tyre condition is for these hard runners. I'm sure Axe might be struggling. He's been off the track at a couple of places, but still running very well in third for one of his first races in this new chapter, if you like, with no line. He's doing very, very well. Honourable mention.
Now it's been a 4-car train with Axe, Polo, Busy Gorgon, F1 driver. The two Alfa Romeo drivers might be trying to work together. Speedy Mid just got by Brew Gorgon as well. Brew Gorgon was running pretty well on those 19-lap hards, but it was just not enough to sustain that position because Busy Gorgon got into him and spun him out. And now F1 driver is going to try and Busy Gorgon this time around the left side, around the far outside. And yeah, he's got the position there. F1 driver does. He's got to steer clear now. Yeah, a lot of people said that was not net code, not net code right there. I mean, there was, I will keep in mind, there was some net code between, and there's a yellow flag at the back. That is Brew Gorgon actually into the, well, almost into the barrier right there, into the grass actually. But yeah, there was a bit of net code between GSR Silent and Davis 2K7 yesterday in the Tier 2 race. Of course, we had to see Silent's perspective, and of course, that ended up probably going to end up as a racing incident. Sorting, it's not final from Tier 2, so yeah, there you go. And I'll tell you that right now. It's just a preview. That one's probably going to be ruled as a racing incident with no further action because of, you know, I mean, netcode. What do you expect? V2, Jar, pickup penalties, and now Paulo God is wanting to challenge on Axe now for another podium here. Paulo God around the far outside. He's not giving that to him easy, Axe, but Axe has let him go through there. And F1 driver, it's his opportunity to challenge too because F1 driver Paulo, it might be between those two for a podium position.
Oh. That was a snap of oversteer for F1 driver.
That was scary.
3/10 behind GSRX.
The gap they pulled on Busy Gorgon now, I mean, he might get it out of DRS with the way things are going, so, and he barely has any ERS. I mean, none of these guys 3rd through 6th do, but there's a yellow flag. That is
Kagoda.
Danny. Kagoda. Ooh, okay. Kagoda has spun. What's happened there? Trying to get spun back around. Might be given by a 10-second by the game, because you know how this game can be with that type of stuff. Well, keep in mind the race lead, 5.2 seconds between Jack and Ricochet. We've not talked about this a lot, but Ricochet's got to keep at least a 3-second gap if another penalty does not happen. Because Jack is trying to do all he can to catch Ricochet, is trying to do all he can to get within that 3-second barrier. Because Ricochet does have the 3-second, Jack doesn't have anything. Behind that is Paulo God, Axe, F1 driver, Busy Gorgon, running at the top 6. And yeah, the gap they've now pulled on Busy Gorgon may allow Paulo to get outside of 3 seconds. It might not allow F1 driver to get out of 3 seconds, but by the looks of things, Paulo F1 driver may be that battle for the podium at this point, at the last podium spot. And 5.1 seconds between the race lead again. F-Ray Cobra is having to challenge V2 Combat. Axe picks up another penalty. Kagoda with one as well.
Jack has to find 2 seconds in 2 laps.
Oh my god. Well, F1 driver trying to get an Axe, trying to get by. The Williams driver. Not making it easy, but going down the inside this time. Axe running a bit wide, trying to get the traction off the corner that he wants. F1 driver's got the DRS. Axe has the opportunity to stay ahead, but F1 driver side by side with him again. F1 driver has got ahead. F-Ray Cobra has overtaken V2, but V2, he's going to try to challenge back at it. Pushing Cobra off the racetrack, and Ricochet's out of the session from the race lead! Oh my god. A race win. I reckon it was.
That was unorthodox.
At this point, yeah.
That was really unorthodox.
Now I'm concerned for Axe or Busy Gorgon at this point. Oh my god. Wow. How the tables have turned.
No,
and
we were just vibing. We were looking at the gaps, and then, you know, that happened.
I thought there was a
Dakota's
safety
gone
car for a
wet
moment in the
when
last lap. I was
retired.
like, what? I thought there was with the yellow flags. Jab picks up a penalty. V2 staying ahead of Cobra. V2 trying for his best finish of the season, best finish in the league. And you also have Kagoda retired out of the race as well. So F1 driver, he's got to pull a good gap in Busy Gorgon if he wants to have that podium position. He's close to doing so. And he's got his teammate Polo as well, trying for a second place finish for Polo. Polo could possibly do it. And yeah, Jack right now winning the race on home soil. Jack is trying to get redemption from last season where he had lost the race winning on track off penalties, or sorry, winning on track but not winning off penalties where he had lost it there. And behind that, F-Ray Cobra is trying to challenge V2, and yeah, Ricochet has to be frustrated with that one. I cannot blame him whatsoever. I mean, with the gap he was pulling, with the gap he was staying with, he probably was gonna win the race.
Oh!
And F1 drivers left the session.
I've got to get
Make sure you get F1 driver back in here. Well, a double Alfa Romeo podium looks like another Alfa Romeo nightmare for F1 driver. It might be a podium gone from him. This may allow Busy Gorgon to take a first podium, and Jack heading to the fall chicane for the final time after an opportunity. A wasted opportunity for Ricochet. Jack is going to get redemption from last season, winning on home soil, getting that redemption, getting that win. While all that's happening, Polo God will take another podium at Britain, Britain, and he holds on for second place. While Axe is going to be third for the moment, but Busy Gorgon takes it as a reserve, and he is going to finish third.
He didn't even qualify properly and has somehow finished third.
20th to third. We've not seen that in a while, but that may be investigated from the contact with Gorgon after the race. Keep that in mind. Kyle Issa too. Congratulations to him. He's finishing the points for the first time at his home Grand Prix. That's not bad for him. Such day a top 5. Speedy Midget after the spin on the safety car restart. He even got a top 6 finish. And yeah, Busy Gorgon as well. Third. Polo God. Keep in mind, best finish for him. After this was the track where he took his only pole. Wow. Heartbreak for Ricochet. A victory for Jack. Well, Busy Gorgon. 20th to 3rd. Wow. Yeah, here you could go to this game. It's not really fun with that type of stuff. I'll make sure to probably include that on my complaint on Twitter today. But yeah, Rico Bottle. Yeah, I.
Phone jack.
Yeah. Wow. Well. Cobra does gain possessions again on penalties. And yeah, wow. Oh my goodness. I'm just shocked. I believe it. Can you believe it, Milo?
Not really. The fact that 2 of the top, well, technically it was top 4, have had issues on the final 2 laps. Well, we didn't predict that for a start. Ricochet drove such a good race. I'm not sure what happened. Again, assumptions. Not my strength, as I found out on lap 2. Yeah,
Feel so bad for Ricochet.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I didn't deserve that win.
Yeah. I'm glad you can agree on that, because yeah, I mean, Ricochet was doing a good job pulling a gap, even though he had a penalty. He had to stay. He had to make you stay out of that 3-second barrier, and he was doing that. He was doing just so, and yeah, spun off a curb. It looks like. Yeah, that's just, yeah. If there's one race that I look back on and say, like, I mean, there's been many victories this season that you can say, was it really deserved? Was it deserved 100%? Maybe deserved 90%? Maybe deserved 50%? That one, though, I mean, you gotta feel for Ricochet. No matter who you are, yeah, you gotta feel for Ricochet.
Yeah,
I mean,
he could have won
played the strategy right with the safety car.
Played it so well.
Yeah. Pulling attacks. I mean, what can you say?
Should have gotten P3 instead of P2, but you know, it's whatever.
Yeah, that undercut really worked, didn't it?
Yep.
And Jack's been given a 20-second time penalty for winning the race. Not kidding.
Yes.
Magic.
Yes.
It shows a Williams driver in Tier 1 cannot win the race, and if he does so, he gets a 20-second time penalty for doing so. Yeah, just rig it for Jack. No, I'm kidding. But either way, I may as well start with the post-race interviews. Man. Jack, you can definitely say it's redemption from last season, but it's definitely not the way you wanted to do redemption. You probably had the fastest car all day. How do you kind of look at today's race?
Well,
Make sure your audio's included.
I didn't realize that like four or five people pitted in front of me. So I saw Brute, Busy, someone and someone who I don't remember. Then I just see Ricochet 10 seconds up the road, and I'm like, I'm sure he hasn't pitted. But I go into AI on the straight, and I see that he's gone from soft to hard. So I knew I had to push to, because I knew he had a penalty. And then the second to last lap, he just oh, I feel so bad. I didn't deserve that at all.
Yeah, you could say redemption from last season, but think of your pace today and what does it kind of show for the championship as you're going to take the lead over Cobra?
Well, obviously I kept it clean on penalties, which, like, instead of last season, which I didn't keep it clean on penalties. And my qualifying pace was very good. Like, I had a very quick lap on the last lap, which put me pole, and then I thought I didn't off the safety car midget happen to him.
Spun out. Just spun out.
F.
Yeah, I thought he got a puncture.
So yeah, I'm happy to take the championship lead, but not like that.
The race should be redone. The leader lost a position because of a glitch in the game. Of course, it should be canceled and redone. Jeez, cannot imagine playing in this league without a rule. Without this rule.
I quoted that from a Limitless Comics comment section if you're confused. It was a race where he lagged out, and obviously they weren't very happy.
Well, congratulations on the win, Jack. Actually, no, I'm not congratulating you. I'm congratulating Ricochet when I see him later today in the race win, just for the jokes. Yeah. But no, take the win. I'll tell you that. But yeah, Milo, do you have any questions for our second place finisher today?
Sorry, what?
Not a real winner. Yeah, not a real winner. He's not a real winner.
Yeah, well, I guess we have to start talking about Italy, because you go in there as a championship leader, another nice haul of points for Williams. So yeah, overall, what do you expect from Italy? Because a chaotic week at Britain. We've seen what happened at Italy last season, Tier 3, Tier 1 start in general. Just what are you expecting?
I'm expecting a load of crashing. That's what I'm expecting. And a load of penalties.
Wow.
Grr.
What are you saying wow to?
Jack's response. He said there's going to be loads of crashes and loads of penalties.
Good one, I guess. Well, Milo, you may as well ask your questions for Polo that you have quickly while I gotta quickly be back.
Yeah, Polo. Eventful second place for you. Obviously, you got a lot of practice in this week and are really becoming consistent now. I want to ask you, since that pole in season 1 and since like your bottle job era, if you like, what have you been doing to try and push yourself to get into these positions?
That is actually a very good question. I think it's just ever since this game started, when I switched to no traction, I felt so much more confident. I felt so much more felt like the car was extremely stable because on F1 2019 I was running really unstable setups, but now that I'm running more stable setups that help me stay on the circuit and not spin at all. Um, I mean, I'm really happy with the results today. I guess I've been pretty consistent. I mean, it isn't a word that you'd usually associate with me, but recently, I don't know, I've just been on it. I just took advantage of mistakes. Usually people will take advantage of my mistakes, but I guess it's redemption from season one, and I guess I'll take P2. Well, even though I did not deserve it at all, I think Ricochet should have won, should have gotten third, but you know, it is what it is.
Still
Don't
podium.
don't quote me on this one,
It
but I think
is
you moved
what it
to maybe fourth in the drivers' championship. My maths isn't that quick. I'm sorry, but again, a very different scenario from what you've been in the past. Last season you finished. Well, let me find it.
It was ninth.
Ooh, it was ninth you finished. So yeah, exactly. You've come a long way. How do you think you can maintain this then, going into the final half of the season?
I guess just keep doing what I'm doing. Don't fix what isn't broken. Just keep my consistent pace. Again, take advantage of mistakes. Don't go for any reckless moves. I mean, I did go for a bit of a dive on such Jade that was kind of crucial in the end because hopefully you caught that on stream. Because I made a move on such into, I'm not sure what corner it was, but we were learning about the corner names yesterday in Tier 2, and I still don't know what what that corner is.
Right.
Last time at the end of sector,
Right.
at the start of Sector 2.
Brooklyn's
Yeah, Brooklands. I made a
Silverstone
move there.
expert.
And since such Day kind of lost it, if I stayed behind such Day, I probably would have gotten tangled up with him. So yeah, I guess just keep up the consistency and again take advantage of mistakes.
Any more questions, Milo?
No. Thank you.
I was gonna ask, what was your first question, so I don't steal it.
I just asked about the scenario and the journey from being on pole in the bottle job era to now.
Yeah, I've got two questions for you, Polo.
Okay.
By the way, congratulations on the podium, best finish as well. Was gonna put out there, did I guess everyone being on FIFA kind of help, with you, taking advantage of that and you practicing more than most people would? And you took advantage of that, I guess. Would you say you took advantage of all that, and this is what got you the podium?
I mean, yeah, I did more practice than other people, but still, I don't think my pace was incredible today. I just stayed consistent, I guess, and just try to be up there, try and stay in DRS of say such and not F1 driver for most of the race, V2 and all that. I guess the practice did obviously pay off, but I feel like even if I did do less practice, I probably still would have gotten the podium because you know everyone was sweating FIFA, people were a bit rusty. Well, obviously Jack wasn't because Jack was absolutely incredible today, but yeah, I guess practice makes perfect. Usually when I sweat for league races, I end up doing terribly. Today was an example that I actually did well.
Now I just got one more question for you, based on the seasons that have gone through. You mentioned how you, mainly because of France, the full grid points, you had got 12th, something like that in the standings in season 1, right? Something like that. And then as well, last season you said you finished 9th in the standings. You're currently sitting close to that top 5, or maybe even in the top 5 in the standings. As the seasons go on and progress and get more competitive and competitive and competitive, you've more competitive, and have gotten better yourself. Would you agree with that statement?
Absolutely. I think the one thing that I can take away from my ARL career is improvement. Because every season I just keep on improving. Just keep on being up there with the likes of F1 driver, Cobra, Jack, all of them. Just keep consistently, especially the last 3 races, being consistent. Just being just the driver I can be, and so far I'm fulfilling what I can show right now, and it's a great feeling because this has definitely been my best season in ARL. I mean, I've already beaten my season 2 tally from last season, and we're only just over halfway through the season, so I guess my goal really for the end of the season is just keep pushing, keep getting these results, and maybe just end the season on a really high note.
Now, just one more quick question before we go to Busy Gorgon. We go to both of our home races next week in Italy. How are you kind of feeling into there?
I did a little bit of time trial, like a tiny bit of time trial practicing for Britain this week, and I feel decent around here. I definitely feel like I can, if I probably won't be sweating as much as I did for Britain, but I think the practice I do, I think could help, and also, yeah, if I feel good at Italy, then hopefully I have another race like last season where I just stay consistent. I mean, I finished like sixth because of penalties. I was like fourth because I did an orthodox strategy. Probably won't work this year because I'll probably get a puncture with the way F1 2020 works. But just heading into the race, just keep the same mindset as I had the last few races, and I guess, yeah, just go for a good result.
Congratulations on the podium. Congratulations on your best finish. And yeah. Oh man.
Nice try. I
No,
heard it and I was like,
I was
no.
gonna ask as well. I was gonna ask as well, Paulo. You know what I'm saying by both our home races at Italy, right?
Yeah, just switch the red with the orange,
Okay.
and yeah, it'd be a home race.
Yeah. Well, SRL, I'll put it that way. But yeah, no, I'm not gonna say the actual word. I'm
yeah.
not gonna get this demonetized. But yeah.
I'm the big
No,
bad
yeah.
fizzle.
I was gonna say,
Sorry,
congratulations on the podium, best finish, and yeah. Now it's time to go to Busy Gorgon. Busy Gorgon, make sure you include your audio. Hey, that's a first podium and your first start. How happy are you with that one?
I'm delighted, to be honest, because I didn't think I'd get points today, to be perfectly honest with you. Like, I'm quite good around Britain, nowhere near people like Jack, Polo and those top in the championship, so getting a podium was kind of mental, to be honest.
Now, I mean, 12th in ABS Tier 2 and a podium in ARL. How does that work out?
Okay, so in ABS Tier 2, I've bottled every race, and I've got more points in Tier 1 in ABS than Tier 2. So that can explain this ABS this season for me.
Well, talk to me about the collision with Brew Gorgon, because there was contact at the final chicane between you both. And would you say Brute pinched you, or what would you say that had gone on in that incident? Because both of you had ended off like not so good. You probably ended off with maybe lime green damage or getting away cleanly. I don't know, but he ended off worse with that. What did you think of the incident when the contact happened?
Well, to be honest, I was just kind of just trying to defend my position, and he had the line, but then again, I was still there. But I'm not really sure, to be honest, because I've looked back at it, and it's just kind of like more of a racing incident. It could maybe be a penalty for me. I'm not too sure, to be perfectly honest. But yeah, it was just basically what happened was after Axe, kind of like me and Axe had a bit of a tap around the corner before Maggots and Beckett. So those I kind of just lost quite a lot of them. Then Root Gorgon came at me, and then it led to that squabble right in the final chicane.
Yeah, and your first start, it's a first podium. I mean, you got to be delighted with that at least.
Yeah. Considering I got F1 in general 5 months ago, I've made quite mental progress now to improve.
Wow.
Like, I started off with Speedy Midget, who's a good friend of mine, just literally spinning everywhere, and now I'm like traction control off, not spinning too much. Although that's just ABS Tier 2 and every lap, but we don't speak about that.
Yeah, wow, you must have really progressed then, I guess. That's congrats to you, I guess. Congrats to you on the podium. Hopefully that does stay. I would like to see it. Pretty cool. I'll have to look at the incident when I get to it. But Milo, any questions for our third place finisher today? Our first podium guy? Our first time podium? First time podium guy. English?
Alright, hit it out. Firstly,
Yeah, right.
congratulations. That is a remarkable result. Brilliant strategy from you. Did you just kind of go with what everyone else did there towards the back? I mean, you didn't even qualify properly, so what encouraged the strategy?
Well, in qualifying, I was thinking I'm going to start P20 is what I wanted to do, so I just avoid incidents. So obviously, I avoided incidents, didn't get any damage, and then when the safety car came out, I thought just go hard. And luckily, Jab didn't pit in front of me, so I didn't get held in the pits either. And then from there, I just didn't get any pens, and it was just fortunate that the top runners couldn't catch up, to be honest.
Yeah, and I mean, that battle with Brute Gorgon was obviously hilarious. For the names, very funny. But I mean, do you think there's going to be quite a negative outcome to your result with that collision, or are you confident that you're a bit more innocent than it may seem here?
I don't think the incident is as bad as Brew Gorgon thinks, to be perfectly honest, because I feel like I definitely wasn't I definitely didn't have my front tires side in front of his rear tire, so obviously I guess I wasn't going to overtake him, but then my car was still there, so I don't know. I don't think it will be that bad for me, if anything, but just a bit unfortunate that incident, to be honest. It was just that I was just wanted to hold on to that position because I don't feel too confident overtaking unless it's up the straight. But yeah.
And that's my questions done. Thank you very much.
I was also gonna mention when Tripod had took over for John because you were reserving for John. Tripod flipped the car in USA, so at least you avoided that today, right? I guess you could be happy about that. So yeah, I guess John will be happy about that too. He'd be like, oh yeah, you didn't flip my car, but yeah. Now, congrats on the podium. And Milo, what do you kind of expect to Italy, and what do we have to do to, I guess you could say, get the driving standards up a little bit? Because I did hear a few complaints from people about the driving standards from their point of view. But what do we have to do to get that up, in your opinion, and make the racing better? And what do you think going into Italy next week for all tiers?
Ooh. Yeah, Italy, I mean, firstly, yeah, I really hope the racing's better, and I hope people can just learn that, be a bit more mature when racing. Don't send it up the inside. For example, the Lesmos, they're quick, one-line corners. Ascari, there's a lot of places where it could easily go wrong for the entire tier if people make those decisions. So I hope that doesn't happen. And I hope anyone watching back the races over the weekend just gets that into the back of their mind, because, yeah, just the mentality for clean racing needs to be there. Going into Italy, Tier 3 last season, oh my days. Ha ha ha. Chaos at turn 1 on lap 1 into turn 2 as well, the chicane. Hopefully not a repeat of that, but, I mean, there's always going to be someone. Tier 2, yeah, it was a decent race, and then it was kind of the early safety car that changed everything. So quite hard to make comparisons with last season and into this season, but hopefully a better race. And then Tier 1, start chaos once again, in a different form, of course, but DRS trains likely, and yeah.
I was also going to mention that, there's sometimes that there's a dead race, and there's sometimes that there's a dirty race, or you could have both of them. Yesterday in Tier 2 is both. I'd rather, if there's any one of those I'd rather have a race be a dead race instead of a dirty race, because you can have all the good racing you want, but you'll have dirty racing with it. That's the way it is. I'd rather have a dead race, but a clean race at the same time. I'd rather have people say, "Oh, that race is dead. That race is dead," than rather talk about, "Oh, this race was dirty. Driving standards need to be fixed." When you have people who've won races here and are, I guess, OGs of the league, you wanting to leave, wanting to think about their decision of staying here. I mean, it's concerning. I'm trying to do all I can as league owner. We fixed the stewarding the way we wanted to. We fixed the stewarding many times. It still gets called biased. I mean, we're trying to do what we can to get the incidents just fine. And no, I think people got to be more cooperative about certain things like that, because I don't think people accept not everything is their. I don't think enough people accept things are their fault. They look at the clip and they say, "Oh, well, that's all his fault. Penalized in 10 seconds, something like that." But then they go back to realize, or then we have to go back to realize and make it clear to them that, hey, it's your fault. But no, it's biased. It's biased. No, I mean, cut that. The thing is, at the end of the day, the stewards are trying to do what they can to review the incidents and give the harshest amount of, well, not harshest, but the fair amount of penalties as possible. It might have to get to that point with certain races where it has to be harsh. That's just the way it got to go. And the driving standards, just as a whole, I think it needs to be fixed. I get people playing FIFA. I get people wanting to go on that game and, take a little break for now. I'm fine with that. But if it gets to the point where you need to practice around AI cars for about 10 minutes a day, I think it's ridiculous. Some people need to practice around AI cars because they can't drive in a straight line. I don't know. I'm going to be completely honest, and I'm just going to say my opinion, no matter if anyone likes it or not. That's just the way I look at it. And hopefully in Italy, there's better racing. We don't want to see a repeat of Tier 3 last season because 15, 16 car pileups. But it did produce a first-time winner and an underdog winner of Fire King. So, that's always good to see. But do you really want to see an underdog winner like that? We could have seen an underdog winner today, like Ricochet, by strategy call. That's what you want to see underdog winners by. He made it perfect. Jack, Paulo, all those guys had said, you know what? I didn't deserve the place I finished. I deserved one spot worse. Well, that's sportsmanship. That's what we need here. I don't feel like there's enough of that. And I think people got to realize that, it's not all the time about winning the race or, trying to do the best you can, sweating out the game. It's about having fun. But it's also about being nice to someone, on the racetrack. I don't think it's always about winning the race or whatever you want to try to do, finishing in the right position. You should. No. It's a matter of driving clean and driving the right way. I mean, I'm not going to say names. I'm not going to say anything, but there's been people out there who've driven like complete idiots, and it's just true. I just think hopefully Italy can show better, and hopefully Italy doesn't show a repeat of last season, because if it does, that won't be good. I mean, we have people wanting to join the league every week from the Twitch streams, from everything else, and they say, "Hey, can I join the league? I'm interested here." Well, when they're watching Tier 3, Tier 2, Tier 1, they don't want to see the worst racing. They want to see the best racing possible. So that's the way I look at it. But we head into Italy next week for round number 9. We're at the halfway point of the season. I mean, the season's got so interesting. But Jack now does take that championship lead. It should be interesting to see what goes on for the lower tiers as well. Got a championship fight on our hands with Tier 2, Tier 3. It's just the gap pulled away from Bennett. He's pulled away too much. And we'll find out what goes on there. We'll keep you updated on any things going on during the week in the league. And that's really about it. That's all I really got to say. Make sure you tune in next week for Italy, round number 9 of the season. And we'll see you then.